Kafka is changing the way that everyone is playing Honkai Star Rail, and here's why. If it wasn't clear enough, her design, giga great, her kit, also really great, and her light code, really great. So the only thing that's stopping you from clearing all of Memory of Chaos, all hard content in Honkai Star Rail, super easily, is just knowing how to build Kafka right. So today we're gonna see if the Lightning Set is better than the Musketeer Set, or if you can get away with Musketeer gear or leftover gear and clear all of Memory of Chaos anyways. Before we get into it, I just want to point out that we have about 3.8k attack, 141 speed, and we have about 30 effect hit rate. In terms of relics, we have Space Sealing Station and the Band of Sizzling Thunder for our first ideal set. But today, as I mentioned, we're going to debunk whether or not you actually even need this set of gear and whether or not you could just use Musketeer and beat everything anyways. Okay, so before we get into it, the stage that we're going to be clearing is Memory of Chaos 10. Memory of Chaos 10 is hands down the hardest content that we currently have in Honkai Star Rail available. So let's just see how good the Band of Sizzling Thunder set is, or if Musketeer can be better. Let's get into it. Okay, so something to keep in mind with the team comp that I brought here. I know everyone's gonna say where's Sampo, where's Luca, etc. However, Kafka herself really doesn't need to be reliant on anyone in order to do big damage. So in this case, instead of having a traditional Nihility team, I'm taking Asta, the Fire Trailblazer, and the Wocha just so I'm safe, I have sustainability, and I can beat everything under the sun. No Nihility damage boost, no nothing like that. All it is just Asta's charging. Let's see what happens. Oh. Okay, you didn't see what happened, but I basically like loaded in and they were basically dead. Now, obviously I understand like Kafka's a little strong on here and like her technique is also really strong. However, it hasn't even been one turn. So obviously Memory of Chaos has 40 cycles and we're about to clear the first turn, Memory of Chaos 10, like the first stage without even taking a cycle. So we're gonna use our skill here. Asta gives our team speed boost. Again, I have 141 speed. I get to use Kafka's skill here, which is obviously very useful. But in general, nothing's too bad. We're still on stage. We still have 40 cycles to go. We cleared the entire first cycle without even losing a single turn. This should be a little bit harder, but again, we are in Memory Chaos 10. So this is a pretty good indicator of how strong Kafka is just with the Lightning Set. Wow, for once in his life, Lucha actually doesn't have to do anything because he is just chilling. And well, I mean, there's not much to say here. We have to deal with more AoE characters, which is normally a problem if you're using someone that's single target like Yanqing or even sometimes Sela, but not in this case because as soon as we use this AoE here, Kafka's gonna have her skill into ultimate and things are broken and they're on fire. So let's just use this skill into ultimate and bada bing, bada boom, and 138,000 damage exclusively from dots. That's pretty fucking ridiculous if I'm being honest. Again, every single turn you get the proc of her follow-up attack. The dot here should do infinite damage, yet that did 60,000 damage. This is gonna be pretty hard to beat. However, again, we don't need to clear in one cycle. It's the third fight and we're on cycle 39. Now I get it, my Kafka's different. I have Eidolons and I have S5. However, that still doesn't detract from the fact that she's basically taking no damage. Things are getting broken, there's debuffs. I'm not even running Sampo, I'm not even running Luca. No debuff helpers. It's pretty much just a solo featuring the Fire Trailblazer, free to play, Asta, free to play, and okay, you know what? If you didn't pull for Luocha, I apologize. However, Luocha is kind of a non-negotiable for these teams. He's a little strong. We're coming up on turn 37. One thing that I do think is a little nice about this sort of team too is that I don't really have to worry about skill points. Luocha doesn't really use skill points. Like the Fire Trailblazer can just use his basic skill and we're chilling. We do also get to break here, which again, weakness, break efficiency has nothing to do with, you know, is totally fine. There's nothing altered by having Eidolons or anything like that. So this is pretty typical. We're still on the 38th cycle here. And again, like we get to gain back our skill point with Luocha here. And this is so much damage. Look at how much damage this is doing. Like this is like 30,000 a proc. And again, even if it's slightly less or slightly more, this damage is already crazy. However, just by the damage dealt by the debuffs and with the fact that I have no crit on my Kafka, or basically no crit on my Kafka, and scaling only with attack, every skill that I use with Kafka is gaining insane value with a 20% increased attack that I gain from the set bonus. That being said, again, we have our ultimate up, and Kafka's probably gonna just end it right here. Bada bing, bada boom, and you see it right there, right? That says 38 cycles. Now, okay. This isn't necessarily supposed to be a showcase of how broken Kafka is. We're trying to compare a Musketeer set of gear to a band of sizzling thunder, assuming everything else is the same, right? So let's back out of here. Fuck you, Bailu. Anyways, as I mentioned before, we have about 3,800 attack, 141 speed, and we have 30 effect hit rate. So as you saw with the 30 effect hit rate and the high attack, we pretty much landed everything because we have high chance to land. However, what we're going to try now is a Musketeer set of gear, and with a little movie magic, as you can see here, now we have 4,000 attack, 144 speed, and we have about 45.2 effect hit rate. So in this case, we have a little more attack, we have around the same speed. However, this time we do get the set effect bonus of having increased damage from basic skill, which is probably not as good as the thunder set's increased attack percent. However, between the speed and the attack percent, and the fact that this is probably going to be an easier set for you to farm, rest in peace, Genuine Pullers, and we're gonna see if we can clear even faster than the thunder set that we just used on our Kafka right before. This time, there is someone that didn't get hit. That's fine. However, the Musketeer set still looking to do pretty good damage. Things are exploding. If I just use my ultimate here, I'm pretty sure they're just overkilled. So same as last run, we still clear before the first turn is over. We can now see if there's more of a difference in the actual damage that's done here. The damage is still around like the 15,000. We didn't land as many dots, or we don't have the charging buff for us right now, so it will look a little bit different. And we get the speed buff, which is nice because again, now we have a little bit more speed on the Kafka. Okay, so if we just use Kafka's ultimate here, we can take a look. We did around 130 to everyone last time. 155 is still really comparable. So this time around, even though we don't have the attack percent increase from using our skill prior to using our ultimate, that still did around 155,000 damage, which is really good, obviously, because we're about to clear the second phase again without breaking a sweat. So again, we have this. We're doing around 30,000. That might be a little lower. It is only about 30,000. I remember us spiking at around 44,000, which is coincidental because we just did 44,000 with our ultimate. However, skill point usage is about the same. Nothing too different. We have like the follow-up attack. If we use our skill here, it should be dead by the time that we use our last Kafka skill here. So that really, it's looking pretty comparable. In all honesty, even if there is a difference, at least from the first two phases that we have here, the damage is pretty unnoticeable. Like, we're still gonna clear before the end of this phase. Turn 39 and we're entering into final phase is ridiculous for literally any team. Obviously, the Memory of Chaos this week is catered towards Kafka and the debuffers, which is fine. However, even in peak conditions, you can clear it in 2 cycles or get to the final phase in 2 cycles. Ridiculous. Unreal. Absolutely crazy. I am actually out of skill points here, which is totally fine because we're hitting a unit that's weak to fire, which is part of the reason why I brought Asta. We have the speed increase, which also pushes us up. We have our full stack proc, and 44,000 between the two is still fine. 36,000 on a dot. Holy crap. It actually is really crazy just how quick I'm eliminating these enemies. They're both just broken now, and I don't know if the speed's making a bit more of a difference, but it looks like Kafka's going to clear on turn 38 this time. The damage is definitely unnoticeable. Like, they're both clearing giga fast. I mean, I don't even know if I can consider this like a... So even from a damage perspective, maybe the burst on one was higher than the other because of certain mobs available, or because like maybe they crit and did a little more damage. But overall, it doesn't really look like you have to farm a lightning set in order to make the greatest Kafka ever, unless if you're a Kafka shrimp like me, because I love her, you know, I gave her the wedding ring. But anyways, like in terms of just comparing the two sets, Musketeer set is really not much different than Lightning set. And obviously there's like other factors at play here. Like we had Asta, we had the Fire Trailblazer, we had Luocha to give a little bit of attack. But even with that higher attack scaling, the damage felt about the same. We didn't give ourselves a 20% increased attack from the Lightning Band set. So this time around, there was a little bit less attack. However, you would imagine that it's balanced out a little bit by the Musketeer increased attack and the speed that we get. As far as I could tell, there was zero usage of the basic skill increase that you get from the Musketeer set. So that is what it is. However, in terms of damage, clearing, unnoticeable. Now, again, what does that mean for people that want to farm or people that want to min-max? There's obvious benefit to having more skills and having the lightning set, especially when you have prolonged fights. First half, and there is simply nothing else more difficult than that in the game right now, aside from maybe Kafka. I don't know, I guess if you want to fight Kafka with Kafka, you can, but there's no weakness break, so it is what it is. However, guys, that's gonna be it. In terms of conclusions, I guess use whatever set you have, use whatever you have the best set of, because ultimately, this character is just unreal. Like, unreal is probably the only way I could describe her. If you have her artifact, that's great. If you don't, you could obviously use Fermata, or you could use, if you don't have her own, you could obviously use Welts, or you could use something like Good Night Sleep Tight. However, according to the dev notes, as of the time of this video, we're also getting a free 5-star Nihility Lycone in 1.3 or sometime in the future. So look forward to that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Kafka video. She's OP. I love her. Like, she's in my bed, not yours. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, turn on the notification bell. Let me know what you thought about Kafka. I already know what everyone's gonna say, so it is what it is. But let me know what kind of build you're running on Kafka, if you think I should test something else out. But thanks so much, guys. Make sure to join the Discord, YouTube, Twitter, all that jazz, and I will see you all next time. Adios.